That is the second half of the minutes from last. It started.
You and Linda and you,
Okay.
Diana, and I, and Tina were all
Is this edited? Is the original?
So,
I can't see.
Sorry, I guess
That is the
Oh,
edited
little.
one, it's the one I got today.
we can tweak it.
Okay, thank you for tweaking it for us.
Well, how many kiddos go when they left?
Okay, I'll start the McCracken City Commissioners meeting for February 13th, 2023. Calling the meeting to order at 6:41 due to technical difficulties. First off, roll call. Austin McCracken, Mayor.
Norma McNair, Commissioner.
Joe Tippman, Commissioner.
Nicole Fennerbaugh, City Clerk.
Amanda Kendall, City Treasurer.
Okay, next we'll have public comment.
Do we have any?
Diana.
Diana Silent.
I just have a couple questions. So, first of all, I would just like to ask, it would probably mainly be to you and Norma, just wanting to know what were your accomplishments for 2022, besides redacting everything? And what are your plans for 2023 for the city? What do you foresee on your agenda? Those are my questions. So if you guys could answer that on your accomplishments and what you plan for the future.
Accomplishments. I would say getting our government to have a little bit more stability and figuring things out as far as finding an actual more continuity in government. And what was your other question?
What, say, I don't understand, what did you find? What did you do?
More what in government? did you
More
say?
continuity in government.
Okay. And then, I was at, other than redacting all of the resolutions for previous administrations, so that was your only accomplishment, is to get continuity for 2022?
Structuring government.
And then what are your plans for 2023? What do you foresee?
What I foresee? Hopefully bring our community back together.
And how are you gonna go about that?
You have two questions and I answered them.
Well, it's the same thing, it's part of question 2.
I answered your question, to bring the community back together.
But what is your plan? What is the plan?
How would you go about that?
How I go about to get the community back together?
Huh?
To try to get people to work together to bring the town back.
So there's no plan? I mean, how are you gonna go about that? I mean, what is your plan?
My plan is to structure government so that we're able to have our city meetings and be able to do what we can to help the community as best as we can. As for foreseeing future plans, future plans would be starting on the ordinance book and getting it taken care of and working along the road to try to figure it all out. I can't tell you everything at one time.
Okay, well, I'm just wanting to know, and I think other people would like to know what your plan is for 2023. Okay.
Tori's done
Are you next on the agenda?
Oh,
Do you have public comment?
well, I just would assume that you kind of had maybe like a year plan, 3-year plan, 5-year plan, 10-year plan, but I guess not.
I think it's a little soon as far as with where we're at with the government to tell you a 5 to 10 year plan.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, next. I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Corrections?
No, I was here.
Yeah, that's good.
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried. Next we'll have resolutions and ordinances. The ordinance or proposal is Charter Ordinance 2023-1, a charter ordinance exempting the city of McCracken, Kansas from provisions of KSA 15-1602 be ordained by the governing body of the city of McCracken, Kansas. Section 1 authority, any city may charter ordinance elect in the manner prescribed in this section, that the whole or any part of the enactment of the legislature applying to such city or other enactments of the statewide concern applicable uniformly to all cities, other enactments applicable uniformly to all cities and enactments prescribing limits of indebtedness shall not apply to the city. Article 12, Section 5C1 of the Kansas Constitution. Section 2, rationale. The Board of Commissioners has a continuing duty to ensure that the certain city officer positions are filled even though no viable candidates live within the city limits as required by KSA 15-1602. Section 3, exemption. Pursuant to the authority stated hereby in the governing body of the city of McCracken, Kansas does hereby elect the provisions of KSA 15-1602 shall not apply to the city of McCracken, Kansas, provided, however, that the following provisions of said statute shall remain effective. 1. With regard to the city clerk and the city treasurer, such provisions pertaining to the requirements of the appointees to said office must be bona fide residents of the city of McCracken for 1 year prior to appointment. And 2. The probation of the appointment of non-residents of Kansas. Section 4, effective date. The charter ordinance shall take effect on the 61st day after its final publication in the paper of record. Considered passed and approved. Board of Commissioners on this day. So that's the charter ordinance that's in provision. This is the ordinance that would allow us to get a city attorney in order to be able to do code enforcing.
But they have to have been a resident here for a year first?
By the
Not what's in
state,
this.
that's what this is to do, is to
This is to
exempt
exempt
him.
us from the city
So
requirement
he can.
for the city.
I see.
So anyone can. So
Yeah.
at this point,
So we can't
So-
hire outside the city.
I think it's already been approved, you guys just needed to approve what he said. You guys already
Okay.
decided to do it, I think?
Yeah, we did a.
we did the last meeting, so is there a motion to enact Charter Ordinance 2023-1?
I'll make a motion that we accept as written.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept Charter Ordinance 2023-1. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried.
So what was that again?
It's a charter ordinance to exempt, it's to change residency requirements so we're able to hire an attorney so that we can get the town cleaned up.
In a city
Well, you
marshal.
already have an
And
attorney,
to
right?
get rid of the city.
We
marshal.
have a counselor under the word counselor, but we can't hire attorney if they don't live in the city according to state statute. So this exempts us so that we can hire outside.
So he can, the one
Yeah,
that can then
yes.
get, work with your code enforcement.
Right, right.
Yes.
Got it.
We had to do this step before we could do the next step. That's the sad part to all of these things that we work on, to be honest with you guys. It's not that there is no plan. I don't really want anybody to feel like we're just out here willy-nilly, but at the same token, everything takes, especially in government, it takes time, it's crazy, it's got to go through a certain process. So as the different things that came up for us to make sure that they was under the legalities of state statute or out of the state statute so that we could make it, it just takes some time to accomplish that. And this is one step that will really help because just like where we had a tie, we didn't have a per se city attorney. Now, if we have that happen, we have someone to be able to support that. So what we're really trying to accomplish is make sure we got step 1, so we can go to step 2, so we can go to step 3, and make it more to flow through correctly.
So you're hiring an attorney, then you'll hire the city code enforcement.
we have to do it that way.
We don't really have to hire a code enforcer, we can have a code compliance officer. Code enforcer would actually take more training and more money for the city to actually hire a code enforcer. Code compliance officer can be anyone that's hired as long as they uphold the same regulations.
But they
It's
still
basically the
will.
same it'll be the same basically as a city marshal, but we won't have a city marshal either. This will enact us out of that too.
And how will you find that person?
You'll have to post and look for that person. And I'm assuming that person will not be from
You'll
here.
have to post, I don't know what that means.
In the newspaper and
For Facebook.
for jobs,
So if
some
someone
position.
wrote a letter showing interest in that job,
We can
Yeah.
at least look at them and see what their credentials are.
as opposed to what? I mean, what if no one else does?
Right.
If no one else writes a letter of interest,
I mean, what if you
we would
don't
have
get
to look and
interest?
see. We may have to hire, this will allow us to be able to hire outside of McCracken. I'm sorry.
So this will allow us to find a code enforcer or solicit or advertise for a code enforcer in the surrounding community like Hayes or Ransom or Cuisine or wherever.
And it's like, it's a paying position, I mean, well-paying position, or?
I don't know, right now it's not as
It's
far as.
not a well-paid position,
Well,
but
I
it's a
mean, it's not
position.
$40 a year or something like that.
No,
No,
but this,
it's
but this
not.
charter ordinance not specifically is going to this specific charter ordinance is to be able
Just
to hire and attorneys to be able to do prosecution
And-
for code
No, we were
enforcement.
talking about the code.
Yes, but that's what I'm talking about within the code enforcing. I want you to specifically know that this charter ordinance is not just for a code enforcer. This is for
I do
specifically,
understand that.
it's specifically written for an attorney, so that we can do code enforcing.
It
I was
doesn't
just talking-
address salary.
I was just
It doesn't
asking about-
address salary.
I was just
money.
asking about hiring the code enforcer, I understood that part.
All right, next we'll have commissioner reports. Mr. Tipton.
Well, that leads me into my report is, I think we should discuss a salary for whatever code enforcing personnel we do hire. Because I think that's gonna be important that we all understand and we all have something in mind so that we can tell people if they are interested, what kind of money they make. And I think we should pay them something worth making it worth their while so that we can attract people that will do it. So I think that should be brought up next time we get together, or maybe right now, if you want to talk about it. I did take a look at the settlement ponds and the lift station. And I talked with the superintendent about it a little bit. So I'm pretty familiar with it now, but it's working just fine, as far as I know, as far as I can tell. And that's really about all I have right now. Except that we still have this problem with Dave Liverton and his garbage dump over there. So I want to talk more about that too, as soon as possible. I'm open to discussion on either of those things right now, if anybody wants to talk about it. But other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Okay, as far as Dave Liverton and as far as code enforcement goes, as of right now, we don't have municipal court, so both those things are not able to be handled until after we have municipal court. So that would be hiring an attorney first. So we're taking the first step to do that, so I believe that,
Okay.
in my opinion, I think those conversations would be best held at the work session room next month. That way we can really dig into it a little bit better, once we actually know what's going on with the attorney and who we're going to hire.
Sounds good.
So all three of you interview the attorney that you plan to hire? Are you all going to be involved in a specific attorney?
Yeah, we would have to vote on.
keep the same person we
Keep the
have.
same person, but we would have
We
to.
just had to change his title. It's a matter of paper shuffle.
So now that you're able to hire without, can't you just get one local?
Yeah, I think it's 61 days. We have to wait till the charter ordinance is
Yeah.
in effect.
How many days?
61,
Okay.
From the last
from the day that,
publication.
yeah, from the last day it's published for like protests and,
Right, but wouldn't it be
Petitions.
more beneficial to, once this is implemented, to be able to put it out there for a local attorney now that you can try to find somebody
if we can
local?
afford a local attorney. I mean, you never know, our attorney might be cheaper than a.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I think we should shop around, because travel expenses are pretty steep right now. And traveling from where is he, Topeka?
Mhm.
Okay, yes.
It'd be like once every 3 months, I think he said.
Unless we have code enforcement issues that have to be dealt with.
I mean, we have 61 days to where we can even hire an attorney. This has to go through without a petition before it can even happen, so.
Yeah, so there'll be another meeting before then. Maybe a couple more, so.
Okay, is there anything else, Joe?
Nope.
Okay, Norma?
I talked with Shane to see, just check with him, touch base and make sure everything was working okay on the water system. And he said everything right now is looking good and seems to be going well. He is working on his certification. I know he's doing that. So he'll just have to keep working until he gets there. That does take some time. It's not just a quick fix. Also, we did get the burn pit burned. Thank you, Sean Peters and his friend. He called me and asked if he could burn it for us when we had the snow all on the ground. And I says, buddy, you go for it right now, because you know we had those big piles all outside as well, and we had burned the pit once, but then we had filled it back up again, and so he did get it burned down for us both. Whenever the weather, a lot of things is kind of holding right now because of weather, with not really being spring, full spread spring, let's put it that way. So I talked with Shane, and we need to get the tractor rolling and get some where the stray stuff was and get it cleaned up and pushed in and get that taken care of. But we will do that as soon as weather permitting, and me and him kind of touch base and work together, because I told him I'd be more than happy to help him with that. And then we'll just see how the spring rolls in as far as mowing, and if we need to get on it, as soon as we need to get on mowing, we will. It just depends on how our moisture level goes, and that's not been great, but we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I think everything's just kind of in a holding pattern until we get where we can actually do some real physical things again.
Okay. Norma, is there anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. For my mayor's report, Nicole brought to my attention that there's a diesel issue with Mitchell, that he's no longer going to be servicing diesel at Charlie's.
Yeah.
So Shane has been going to Brownell to get diesel in jugs. My suggestion that I'd like to discuss is possibly getting a tank that we're able to fill, kind of like the farmers do, with a padlock, and put the diesel next to the city machine shed, or I don't know if you can house it inside there, how you would do it, but something so that he's not making so many trips back and forth, and that way we could buy a one lock stock at one time, and then that way we're able to use the equipment that we have that's diesel ready.
Has he looked into any possible diesel containers?
He hasn't,
As in,
no.
okay.
I just.
No, I think
Is
that,
It's just a
Not selling it
suggestion.
anymore?
No,
No,
I
his
thought-
diesel pump is going out and he doesn't sell enough of it to house it anymore.
Oh,
even with the farmers?
that's what
The
he
farmers
said,
all use
yeah, I
the tanks
asked.
from.
They have their
own.
He said that most of them have their own, he said he hardly sells any diesel. So he doesn't know if it'd be beneficial for him to get a new gas pump for it.
I hate to see that, because the city
Yeah.
bought from him too. I mean, the county.
Yeah.
He said that he just really didn't sell enough.
hmm.
But that wasn't a final decision, he just said it for now,
Yeah.
because they are expensive, I guess. The pumps are like 30,000, 20,000 or
Oh, yeah,
30,000.
they are expensive.
Yeah,
So,
so,
that was just,
Yeah.
that was just food for thought. Also, as far as the cemetery goes for that area, we had already decided to fix the water at the cemetery. I was wanting to know exactly, for discussion of what we can do to get that taken care of and who we could get to put it in, and the meter situation where, as our meter is not being used by us and we need to put in a new meter.
This is being used by.
It's rural water, so
Oh.
we don't have any regulation over
Right.
their stuff, and they have taken our city water meter, our rural water meter for the cemetery, and they've hooked it up for cattle, for who?
I think Hart.
For Harp's cattle.
Yeah.
So it's
Right,
the existing
Hart.
meter we used to use, so we're trying to investigate to figure out if we need to put in a new meter or what we need to do.
You'll have to contact Lance. He's the one over rural water. So, or ask him who you need to talk to, if it's not him personally.
Talk to Sean Walker.
But they are the ones over it, so we have to go through them. And
Okay.
that would be at our
he's here.
expense.
You could ask him about that tank.
Hey, Shane,
Yes.
tank for diesel,
Have you,
have you thought about buying a tank to put like on a stand that you could use to fill up one time, and that way you're not driving so
No.
far and you have everything, kind of like the farmers do?
I understand.
Would that be something you would be interested in?
Yeah.
do a little research?
See if I can get a free tank somewhere.
You might be able to, I'll be honest with you, you might be.
Well, I told Nicole yesterday that, I don't know if it's still there, but at one time, my dad had a diesel tank with a handle pump on it. I don't know if it's still up at the dog pens or if my brother has it or not. I'll ask him.
Okay.
Might be an option, because he used to put in the back of his truck.
Yeah, that would help.
The other thing was, since Nicole would receive the cemetery records, I would like, she got the ordinances all on the file drive, so I want to look through there and figure out what the actual plot costs are and see, because we were looking through and it looks like they've changed, so we want to go back and make sure everything is correct. So we're going to investigate that. As far as the park, we had talked about putting water at the park, and I know the bathroom, that one bathroom is not in very well shape, so I wanted to see if anyone was able to tell me kind of what it's going to, if we need to get there, what we need to do to get the water to the park. I know at one time,
Well,
Norma, you had.
when I was over, I was looking into it, Bill did mark off all the water lines that was at the park. So I kind of, the way they zigzagged all over, I kind of just brought forth to the group, we probably just need to do a straight line from where the water meter is for it, because there's actually 2 water meters. There's one that was hooked up to all the faucets and that kind of thing. And then there was one that comes off of that one. That's why I seen you might be able to do that at the cemetery,
As well.
because we took one off of that and put it over by the flowers there, so that it could just be used for flowers only, so we didn't have to run everything, or we could just run part. So basically, I think if we took from the line, I don't think we're probably looking at a problem between the 2 meters. I think if we could take from where the flower meter is, go straight down as straight as we could into the restrooms, that would probably take care of that. We could probably pull one, I would just pull one faucet. If we had a lot of activity that went on at the park, it might be a little more. There's two there in the old ones, but even if we just put one somewhere outside the restrooms, then that way it would just be a way they could at least get water if they was using the park as such. And we could put a padlock, you know, do the frost free with a padlock. And then when we're not using it, then, or somebody hasn't came and said they want to do a family reunion or whatever, then we could padlock it so somebody didn't just turn it on and let it run. But as far as the bathrooms there, it might just be a factor. We just have to look at the lines, but we're really gonna have water to it to see what needs to be fixed.
I was just asking because we've approved both those things to be done.
Right. So my suggestion would be take a line straight down from where the flower meter is and go that way, or take it straight off of the other meter. I guess really that's the one you'd have to go, because then that flower meter goes off and it'd just all be in one. So you'd have to go off the main meter and then just make a straight
You'd
shot.
have to hire someone in to do that, right?
Well, we
bring
actually
a
talked about, Shane and I, just trenching it out and running a line. I mean, it's really not a real super difficult, hard thing as far as that part of it.
It's no different than the city of La Crosse doing their own water lines.
Yeah, so we could actually probably get us a trencher and just do that and check it out. We really, truthfully, it kind of got put on the back burner because we had other things at that time.
Gotta wait for the ground to thaw a little.
And now we do. I mean, again, weather permitting, we'll have to wait till we're in the fall season. But yeah, we definitely do. That needs to be on our priority list for this year to finish up.
Okay. Thank you for the snow removal. That was nice down the roads. Let me see. And I have nothing else to report at this time. Next, I'll see clerk reports.
Well, Jeannie is usually here. I was gonna thank her for helping me put the Christmas decorations away, but I'll have to do that next time because she's sick, I guess.
Yes.
This has been a very busy month for me. I've been working every day to get us on board to our software. I'm hoping that we will be to the point where we will be able to offer online utility payments within the next 60 days. I applied for the scholarship for the next clerk training in March at Manhattan, and I won.
Good for you.
So the CCMFOA will be paying for the entire conference plus my meals, and the conference alone was $325, so they're gonna take care of all that. In the last 2 or 3 months, I've saved the city a lot of money. I got our phone bill cut in half. I filed for the tax exemption for the museum edition and applied for the property taxes that we've already paid to be refunded. I learned that we could be making a significant amount of interest on our bank accounts and moved all of our money into one account instead of having multiple accounts. When I learned of the higher interest rate at one bank, I called the other bank and asked if they had a similar type of account. They offered me 0.3% interest, and I told them that wasn't good enough, so they offered us the same rate we were getting at the bank across the street. So now we are making the maximum amount of interest at both banks.
Good job.
Amanda and I went to the bank and we got all of her accounts straightened out. We now have all of our operating fund in one account located at Farmers Bank, and our interest rate is currently at 0.9%. And we have all of our savings account at SJN Bank, and the current interest rate is 0.75%. And all of our CDs are still located where they always have been. They are up, or 2 of them are up this month, but I figured we'd just let them set, not do anything with them. I said, I'm sure some of you have noticed I've been spending a lot of time here, and I understand that the city clerks in the past have done this job for even less than what I make, but I know for a fact that I do this job more thoroughly than anyone has. It's because I care about this town and I want it to be the best it can be. The problem is I can no longer justify the hours I put in and the sacrifices I make for the amount of money I take home. Unless this is addressed, I will no longer be able to put in the same amount of time that I do now. I will still be the city clerk and do the water billing, but it will be on a much smaller capacity. I think this city will suffer greatly from this. In my training, I've learned that the most important thing you can do is pay your staff what they deserve. This is the only way that you will retain employees with the limited options that we face when it comes to hiring people. I hope that you will realize the importance of this as well. And that's all I have.
Yeah, good
You're
job.
doing a good job, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your research that you do. So when do you get a raise? Huh?
The countless hours.
Are you 40 hours yet?
A week?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but contracted for 40 hours?
No,
No.
no.
So then what do you gotta do to get a raise to do the work that you're doing?
That's not up to me. It's,
We need to put it on the agenda and talk about it
Okay. Put it on the agenda for
and
next
then
month.
vote on it.
And is there a dollar amount? So they'll know.
I need more than $250 a month to, because I just put in too many hours. I mean, it's just not, I can't justify it anymore because it's just caused problems. I've made a lot of sacrifices, lots of sacrifices for this, and I don't know, I'm tired, and I just can't justify it for
Does it
the,
have to be on the agenda? Can I make a motion to give you a raise?
yeah.
I would make a motion to give you a raise. I would make a motion to match the exact same salary, same amount that the library pays Crystal, which is $13.50 an hour. And,
Do we want to do hour or do we want to do?
and what's the amount of hours that,
She-
what even the amount of hours that Crystal receives? At the
She
library?
works 40 hours a month.
Well, that's a month, we could do more than that.
How many
I'd
hours?
say-
If we can justify 30
Working
hours,
for-
if we can justify 30 hours a week, I would consider that.
I think you can more than justify 30 hours a week.
Where our government was, I believe we
Is
can.
that agreeable to you?
Very, yes.
Yeah, I'd go for that too.
So you're talking $395 a week?
I would say at
I would
least.
say at least.
Can we, budget-wise, is that gonna hold up?
Will it change our budget?
Well, if you could separate it through different funds, because I really, it would be different funds, you know?
Because
Like
you could
different-
take some out of the water, actually,
Yeah.
you could take off the water side and off of the general
Yeah, I mean,
side.
everything, really, it would be able to come out of each fund, I would say.
Why don't you
I
just
would
make
say.
it 400 if it's 390 something?
Yeah, it's 395.5. Well, that's what I was saying, maybe we should just keep it at a base.
A salary?
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
that wouldn't
salary,
bother
because
me.
sometimes, it's like this, sometimes I know this myself, there's sometimes you're gonna put a lot of hours in, and hopefully, as we talked about with the software and everything, hopefully, some of those hours kind of come down, because we are, we're not putting as much in, or it might be a part of the season that we just aren't as pressed as others. So, to me, it would balance out probably in the long run, but would it be better to do it in a base pay, and then that way, yeah, some months you're gonna have more, some months you're gonna have less.
Yeah, a salary wouldn't bother me at all, because it would be a lot easier to figure that anyway.
Yeah, so I was kind of thinking on that part too, because I'm running a business, you know how all that bookwork goes.
And I'll make a motion that we pay Nicole $400 a week. Is that what?
That's,
I'll second that.
Is that a week?
That would be
A month.
30, kind of based on about 30 hours a week. That's what it's kind of based on.
But it's $400 a month.
No, 400.
No, she's only
It would be
making
400, it'd be
$250
$1,600 a
Okay,
a
good.
month. It'd be $400 a week, actually. She can do it if she wants to do her check as one lump, I mean, that, or every 2 weeks.
Right.
I mean, it's really up to her how she wants to put that, but it would boil down to 400 a week or 1,600 a month. Is that something you could
that's
live with?
very much, yes, that would be,
She can be wild, she just can't be done.
Well, I just know myself, there's sometimes I really spend a lot of hours in research and doing stuff, and even on some of the other things that I do, I spend a lot of time, and there's sometimes that, I'm kind of floating, and it's not as pressing, so it kind of works that way. So, yeah, if you want to make a vote.
I made a motion, I just need approval.
Yeah, he
I'll
said it.
second it.
Okay,
Yeah.
the moved and seconded to change Nicole's salary to $1,600 a month. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same side, motion carried. Now, will this be effective immediately, or will it have to go through a resolution?
I think it has to go through a resolution.
Okay,
Yeah. We should be able to have that by next month.
we have to call a special meeting, Okay, next, reading of your financial report, slideshow.
Yeah, there was supposed to be a slideshow, but due to technical difficulties. I'll get it up here. But I printed it off for you. I printed them off, copies. I gave them to them, and you can just,
Do you need one?
oh no, I've got it on the computer here. Yeah. I didn't know if you wanted to do this part. Okay, this is just how to read them, like, and the different types, we're gonna have a treasurer's report, a budget report, and a revenue report. And the treasurer's report helps monitor the financial health of each fund and prints the ending balance from the previous month, prints the revenue received this month, and prints the expenses for the month, and then prints the ending balance of the fund. And then on the, what is it, number 4, on the 4th page, I've got that, like,
Which one are you starting with? The
this is like how to read the financial reports.
They're on page
The
4.
bigger-
Oh, okay,
She's
sorry.
ready for page 4.
Yeah, the
You're
bigger,
on the bigger packet. okay.
yes.
We're on this one, right?
Yes.
Right.
So the one with the
Page
squares.
action?
Yeah, there's not, I don't know why I did it in color. Oh, yeah, because it was supposed
Last
to be up
one's
there.
cash balance.
Yeah, that's the first like set of numbers that'll be on your report would be the last month cash balance. And this is just the first report that I ran after we got everything put in from January 1st. It was just this is actually our financial report that I'm going off of, but not our most current one. And then the next box is the revenues that we received for the month. Then the next one would be the expenses. Each page is different, like if you turn the pages, we're on page 6 now. This was supposed to be on a PowerPoint presentation, so that's why it's,
Oh, I see. Revenues and then expenses.
yeah, and that's what I did. I just went through and I just put boxes around whatever, just so people would know how to read them. Because then the other packet that I gave is the actual reports, like current ones from Friday. And so you'll know what you're looking at. It's okay. Okay, like, and you're not letting you do this.
So which ones were
This is the budget report. This is from Friday. Those are all the different funds. This is the previous, or the budget, and this is the monthly, what we paid out this month, and this is what we paid out this year. And that's the percentage that we paid towards our budget.
Our budget.
Yeah, and that's what's unexpended.
What number are you on now?
Oh, I'm on the different report now, because I
This
thought.
is the current, this is what we have current, and it
Yeah.
won't be,
So you're
any-
into February now?
it's, I'm just gonna read you what the
on-
February one.
Yeah, the littler packet right now, that's what we're on,
Okay.
yeah.
So, right now for the general whole total is $180,146.
That's what we budgeted.
That's what's budgeted. So then the balance paid to date is $10,266.89. We've used, 8.49% of our budget for the year. And then, and then the cemetery, we're at $44,521.
Is what we
Is
budgeted.
total
yeah.
budget. So year to date, or actually expenses that we've paid, is what, $366.33?
And that's just Shane's paycheck, like,
Yeah.
it comes out of some of it comes out of the cemetery fund. It comes out of all different
So
funds,
as
so
of
that's
right
what
now,
that
we've only
is.
used 1.63% of our budget.
Okay, so my question is on city and highway. What are we getting for city and highway? I don't know.
We pay, like, we get the gas tax, they pay us every so often, we'll get a deposit for that, like the state.
Each quarter.
Is it each quarter? Okay, I know we just got one. And we pay the city, like, the street lights out of there.
Okay.
And then, what else gets deposited?
So is there a breakdown that where it says it's paid city, like you have water, sewer?
It would be what we budget
On
and then the
general?
city and then what they pay in quarterly. Once a year, Lane Scott gives us a rebate, that kind of a rebate, I'm gonna call it
Yeah,
a
and then the
rebate back.
sewer fees, half of the sewer fees go into that
Right.
fund too,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because we use the streets, and then the franchise fees that we get from
Lane Scott.
Lane
and
Scott,
Adams.
yeah,
That-
Lane
that's what I was
Scott, they
talking
give
about.
us, and we deposit it into that fund because they tear up our streets when they bring their
Well, and
equipment,
they,
you know?
we pay our electricity out of that.
Franchise for Golden Belt too.
Mm-mm.
No, we don't.
No.
I don't know what they do.
I don't know either because they do that to the library. I know that.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't.
And maybe it's because it's the city government.
We just got them this year already. I think half of them, right? The franchise fees.
We got them for this quarter, yeah.
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 So that's what goes into that account.
The whole first column is what is budgeted.
Yeah, that's what we
That's what
budgeted.
is budgeted for the year.
I probably should have done these in a different order, but I didn't. Then you just scroll. There's each of the funds. And then there's one more underneath that, I believe.
So in general, this is what our cash balance is, $92,770.84. We brought revenue, we got $5,969.58. Total expenses as of now for the year, $10,266.89.
So that's, yeah, that's right. Never mind. I'm sorry.
So, well, this is the whole cash balance now after revenue and expenses was the 88,000,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
831. What is this one?
That's our COVID money.
No. Okay. So, the cemetery, we're at $38,256.82. We brought in $88.41 and paid out $363.33, which is Shane's, and then,
Yeah, the liabilities just are payroll taxes.
yeah, so we don't need, but, so the actual balance as of
The
today, the 10th, is $38,038.86. Then we have the COVID money with a balance of $13,429.61. Then we have the highway, where we've not paid out anything,
No, we haven't done
anything. So right now with that, it's $12,405.01. We have the water with $76,495.04 as of the 10th. We've paid out more in, because is this what comes out from
This is just
Mitch
from
and
the-
whatnot?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's
Everything?
different now.
That's all different now?
Mhm. But that's because it only went from, it's only like 2 weeks, because it's just from that first report that I did to this,
Yeah.
yeah.
So basically, all in total of everything, balance-wise, is 233, 373, 32.
Because technically Mitch's payment couldn't come out till today, so.
Right. But was there any, but that's what's in here, in the water,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
And then the revenue report, it just tells what's budgeted and what we've used, or what we've gotten in so far this year, which we've already gotten, 86% of our
Of
general
our
fund
general
revenue
fund.
this year. We've already gotten, because we got our tax check already, so that's kind of scary,
Yeah.
but I think that we're doing okay.
So what is the uncollected?
That's what we haven't collected yet. That's just what we budgeted.
This is our
That's-
budget, this is what we've got from our budget, and this is what we have yet to receive for our
Right, and that's not even saying that we won't get, I know we'll get more because we only got half of our tax money. We still got another $27,000 coming from that. So I know that that's off, like we budgeted, we didn't budget enough revenue. Does that make sense? Like we didn't budget to get enough.
So you only got 27,000?
Just half of the year, yeah.
half of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Because then usually, I mean, I'm just saying, usually speaking, July is about 80% when they pay that out of there, and there's just a small percentage usually in December.
Well, because we're supposed to get, I think, $43,000 this year.
Right,
And they gave us 27,000, so we still got the remainder of that to get yet.
okay.
So
'Cause
then, how do you get uncollected of 5,812?
Because we under budgeted, because this is going by our actual budget, what we went and did in July.
our first year.
Yeah, that's our first year of ever doing, we had no idea what we were
We did
doing.
not know what we was doing.
And I-
Sure,
yeah.
I mean, she was very helpful, I don't wanna sound like.
But yeah, we had
just
no
went
idea what we were doing.
willy-nilly either there.
No.
I mean, Carolyn was very, very helpful because she has done it for years.
So what we did, I mean, we kind of we didn't say we were gonna get more money than we thought we were, we kind of
It was a little smarter for us to stay under.
Yeah, we
to
underdid the revenue and overdid the expenses to make it,
balance out.
well, yeah, just to make us not get into trouble, but we do need to rebudget because that's obviously not right. We're gonna get more money than that. And, yeah, but it was our first year of doing it, and we honestly,
learned a lot.
Yeah, we
We've
learned a lot
lot.
since then, and we didn't know what we were doing. But she said it would be best if we underestimated, that's the word I was looking for,
Right.
underestimated what we were gonna be getting in, instead of overestimating it, because then that would make us come up with a budget shortfall.
There's a whole different gamma when we went to that budget meeting. If you come short, fall short, it's a really big thing. A lot of red tape to go through and to redo.
Yeah, and we could get in trouble for it
Yes,
if we
and we
come up
could have
short.
been in trouble. So that's why under budget is smarter than over budget.
But I mean, we've literally only been doing this job for 1 year exactly tomorrow. I mean, so we've learned a lot since then, and that was back in July, so we'd only been doing it for 6 months when
Yeah.
not even that, when we did the budget. So it was ignorance, but we're figuring it out. But now that we've got the software to tell us where we are at in our budget, we actually know, because before we had no clue where we were. If we were
Without
over or
sitting
under
down
or
and
anything.
doing a lot of bookwork.
Yeah, I mean, we had no idea, now we know, or we will know.
Yeah, this
That's
really
the
does.
percentage of the fiscal year that's gone by.
So is that your reading of your financial report?
Yeah, and then I'll do that every month, and I'll put that on the website too. Like run those reports, because I'll do them every time I reconcile the bank statement, that's when
Right.
that runs, the council report will run. But it's really, I mean, it's taken a lot to figure out how to do, like, with the account numbers and everything, but I'm figuring it out. I mean, it's kind of all clicking now. Before it wasn't. I cried the first day I trained with it. I really did. I went home and I cried because I thought, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing, but then it just all clicked. So now hopefully it'll be easier. And it'll all start making sense, and we'll be able to put it on the projector too, maybe next month.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
So then the slideshow would make sense, but
It might be beneficial to just change that out on the TV.
yeah, something's.
That's what
gonna have to be
they
different.
got rid of all our projectors at school and they've all gone to flat screens.
Really?
Because they're a lot easier because it's all over Wi-Fi. It works so much better.
That would be
You don't
better,
have to mess
yeah.
with anything.
I was so excited for that too, but
Okay, so next we'll have the city treasurer.
well, actually we just
Yeah,
did
it was-
hers.
yeah.
All right, well
Combined
then we'll
that.
skip on down to old business.
It was supposed to be really neat and like candy, but it just
It
didn't
worked
work
out well. It did.
Okay, next we have the library and country club lease drafts.
Okay, our attorney was in a trial, so he did not have time to work on those. But I asked him what he needed, like the parameters, and he gave me a paper on what all needs to be in the agreement, that I just need to do it. I just needed to keep it on the agenda to keep it,
Table it.
Yep.
Okay,
just
so-
keep it
so
on there.
then I'll make a motion to table library and country club lease drafts.
I'll second it.
And moved and seconded to table the library and country club lease drafts until we speak with our city councilor. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same side, motion carried. Next, we have the scheduling conflict for work sessions.
I didn't know what you guys decide on that. If we're gonna change them or leave them the same, because we've got one next month.
Yeah, I'd rather not do it on Sunday. But, Austin, I think your work schedule was where it hinged last time we discussed it.
Yeah, my schedule just Monday through Friday.
So like, you said you'd be available like 6-ish.
Yeah, 6, I mean, would probably be ideal.
Do you want to do it then?
What day?
Oh,
Because
I don't
second
care.
Mondays are kind of not,
Mondays are kind
they're
of,
kind of out because of the city meetings and the library meetings, but,
any day's okay with me, really, except
maybe like
Sunday.
Thursdays are probably meetings, Tuesdays are probably meetings. Maybe
Fridays are kind of,
Ball
everybody's
games are
kind of
Tuesday,
burned out.
Fridays.
like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Tuesday, Fridays, and they're about done.
Thursdays,
There's just nothing Thursday.
yeah, I don't think Thursdays are really.
It was middle school and that's done
And
now.
Wednesday won't work for you because of church.
Well,
So-
if I have any meetings there,
Thursday.
they always go on.
So do Thursday.
I mean,
I
Mondays
would
are,
say-
okay-
I would
Mondays
say
are okay with
Thursday.
me, but
I would probably say on a Thursday evening would probably be the best time because it's kind of like,
I mean, we can try it and then
Well, we can, yeah, we can.
discuss it again afterwards.
If that doesn't work,
See
we
where it
can change
settles.
them.
well, we just have to do a resolution and change it all, so if we change it.
Yeah, I mean, I
it's
thought, we had it on Sunday because it was in the afternoon and it was nice to not have to, like, after you're working all day, to be here. But I don't even need to be at the work session, so it really doesn't affect me.
I would say you could try Thursday evenings,
Okay.
see if that works better. Because, I mean, honestly, if I want to leave on a Saturday, I have to come back on Sunday and be here by 3
Right.
o'clock.
Right.
So that kind of hinders for the weekend, and I'm only off 2 days a week, so. And I would agree with Thursday, I mean, there's really not as much
That
going
means your
on.
Friday clear too. if you
Yeah,
want
because Wednesday,
to Take off after work.
yeah, because Wednesday I have, like usually with school, I have like Monday, stuff to do Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Thursdays really kind of more open.
Like which Thursday of the month, like the first, second, or third, fourth Thursday?
I would think right before the meetings again, like we have been.
So
The week before?
the first Thursday of the month,
Yeah.
every other month?
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it before the meetings, we do the second Monday of the month, so it'd be the it would be the second Monday, actually. Well,
It'd be the
it's
first-
gonna fall
The first
differently.
Thursday, though.
It's
First
gonna-
Thursday.
The first Thursday,
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna fall differently each month, so,
Oh, it would fall differently?
yeah.
Is it a better day than that?
Well, no, I mean, it's just
It's
how
still
the
only a few
beginning
days
of the
from the
month,
meeting.
you know. So if you go the first Thursday, like in March, it's on the second, but your meeting's not till the 13th.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
So it is gonna fall differently, depending. Now, you know, April, that's gonna be perfect. May, that would fall fine too. That's
Just
just
every
a
other
few.
month anyway.
You'll just have
Yeah,
to
it's just
look.
every other month.
And it,
Yeah.
yeah, if we're gonna stay with every other month. Okay.
Yeah, because the only thing with Sundays is your meetings could be shorter on Monday if we did.
Yeah, that's why we had it on that day, was because then we could take care of a lot of stuff, the discussion part of it on the work session, and then not have to be in here so long on Monday.
But Thursday, I mean,
It's not, I mean,
there's
it's
still,
up,
there would still be, you could still do your discussion. As long as
Yeah.
it's discussed in a meeting, it doesn't really matter.
well, yeah, nothing can be voted on anyway,
No.
so I just need to know what
It's just
time.
discussion.
Probably said 6.
6?
What did we say, 6 or 6:30? 6.
6, the first
What
Thursday of the
time?
month,
That's
every
good.
other month at 6.
I would say, let's see, what time are you gonna?
Just however you need to.
What if we
be.
just do like 5 to 6? Would that even work?
Just an hour?
How long are you going to, I mean?
Well, I don't think
can-
we had, I think it was
It was just
open-ended.
It was open,
open-ended,
yeah.
so,
I just need a
Better
number to
stick
put
with
in
six
the,
because you
when I
might-
draw it up, the
Yeah,
resolution.
6 might be, 6.
Okay.
Yeah, those are 6.
All right.
Okay, so make a motion that we get drawn up to change the work sessions to 6 o'clock on the first Thursday before the meeting,
Every other month.
every other month.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded to change the work sessions to the first Thursday of every other month before the meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. Next, we'll have the sidewalk regulations. Nicole can touch on that. This is to answer Roy
Okay.
Langdon's question.
Yeah, that Roy Langdon got up last month and said something on the sidewalks, so I went and I researched the heck out of
Yeah,
sidewalk.
I looked them up too.
And, yeah, I wrote up like a big long thing. I don't know if you guys want me to read it.
Well,
Or-
actually, it, you know, on it, there is a,
Summarize,
Just pretty much say what
yeah,
it is.
because it's like a 2-page thing, but actually, the city is just what it's on.
Just go
It's
ahead and give
not
us the
gonna
gist,
be-
Nicole, and then if they want to read it, that's up here, they can read it.
Yeah, I mean, I can make copies of it. It's just pretty much that if you have your property, your sidewalk is your responsibility. The city can go in and like cause you to fix things at your expense. But it all has to be up to the ADA, which is the Americans with Disabilities Act. That's the main thing, like they have a bunch of regulations, and I also put those on here too. Like their requirements, their sidewalk requirements. So as long as it's going by that, I think that all you have to do is get an okay from the city, but the city can make a person fix their sidewalks and keep them clear. And then I put down like a lot of the different sidewalk the communities, like they do a cost sharing thing, kind of. They offer incentives to do your sidewalk repair. And like Atchison is, in 1979 they implemented it, and they match the sidewalk repair improvements dollar for dollar, like with whoever wants to do them. And then Garden City offers up to $1,000 in reimbursement for the repair, and the do-it-yourself project qualified for $1,000 in reimbursement, and the city will contribute half the funds if the resident decides to hire a contractor, but they're still subject to a $1,000 limit. I mean, there's just different cities have different incentives to fixing the sidewalks because people do use them, and if you're blind, you gotta think of it like if you're blind, the sidewalk, the way they bump up, and that would be hard to deal with.
I know mine.
Right, so we don't even have one.
Do you have to have a sidewalk?
You don't, you do
No.
not have to have one, because we don't have one. You can ask to remove your sidewalk if it's, like his, I think is really damaged.
It's really
That's-
bad.
That's what he wanted to do, and I think it'd probably be better to have it removed than to have it in
Oh,
the
yeah.
condition that it's in, because it's so dangerous.
Well, besides, I don't blame him for wanting to plant grass there and make it a yard more than a concrete slab.
Well, it's kind of a mess. There's
Yeah, it is.
clods of it that are just pulled up, and it would be a trip hazard and so forth, so if it just got raked out of the way and thrown out, the bad part that's all crumbled up.
Yeah, like Dave's sidewalks got to be addressed, because it is, I mean, if somebody that was, like I said, blind, and I do know a little girl that is blind, that her great-grandma lives here, and so that could very well happen, and if she would go on that sidewalk, she could get hurt, she could get cut, or, we've got to address that issue with that sidewalk being covered in stuff.
Somebody cleared the stuff off of the sidewalk, but there's still stuff on both sides
Oh, they
of
did
it.
clear the sidewalk? I haven't looked for a long time.
Yeah, but,
Completely clear?
yeah, you can
Yeah,
see
the
all the way down the
sidewalk is,
sidewalk.
Because the city may also condemn a sidewalk that if it determines, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna make a point to say. Because if somebody gets hurt on the sidewalk, we aren't responsible like liable wise, like with the
Liability.
the homeowner would be, unless we had knowledge of the problem. That's where it gets tricky, is because if the city knows about the issue, then they have knowledge and they are liable for it. Just like a half and half deal. Like the property owner would have to pay half and the city would have to pay half of the lawsuit. Yeah, I probably should have just read this whole thing because it is pretty interesting. because the city can condemn the sidewalk if they feel like if they feel like it's dangerous or whatever, it's in bad disrepair. In the cities of the third class, cities may make any repairs without notice to the property owner. And then they were responsibility for funding the construction, reconstruction, maintenance. Huh? Yes, that's awesome, thank you. And that would fall to the property owner, and you could get that levied on their taxes, like if we would decide to do that. Or assessed against their taxes. It was really interesting. It was kind of fun. It was kind of fun to research.
It's up to a city to make.
Yeah, the city has to, like I said, the city has to make the decision to fix it, but if the city has knowledge of it, then that's where a liability issue could come in.
So is there any
Right,
ordinance
It says,
in McCracken?
oh my gosh, yes, there are so many sidewalk ordinances for this town. Oh my gosh, I saw.
you serious?
I swear, yes. I mean, to
They
tell
must be
you
the
what, they
oldie
went.
goldies.
Oh, there is also an ordinance, I gotta say, this is like kind of off the point, but it's so interesting, that any male between the ages of 21 and 45 must, for every year, put in 2 8-hour days of street maintenance for the town as volunteers.
Wonder what year that
And
was.
provide their own tools. It was the 1889, I think, but I just thought it was so interesting. And provide their own tools to do it. And I can't imagine asking somebody to do that now, you know, up to you're 45 years old.
Up to 45?
21 to 45 years old, they have to 2 days a year for 8-hour days
Yeah, I don't
and provide their own
Yeah,
tools.
but they would get too far with
I don't think
that.
there's anything wrong with that.
I mean, it just was so interesting. And we've got lots of ordinances that are hilarious like that. Like it is against our city ordinances to spit on the sidewalks.
Yes, I was remembering, I read that one.
Is there some place you can post this stuff about sidewalk regulations?
I can put it on the website.
I don't think that's a bad idea for a little while. Put it up for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because we do have one for like snow removal and ice removal. I know that for a fact. That's actually pretty recent that we have that. But it says right here, a property owner is only liable for an injury caused by a defect in the sidewalk if that defect was caused by the property owner. A local government, on the other hand, could be held liable for a considerable defect if it had notice of the defect and did not repair it.
All right, so if somebody complains about it.
And so if
the
somebody got
city
hurt
doesn't
on
do
Dave's and
anything
we
about
had
it.
notice of it, we could be in trouble if we didn't, but you said it's cleared, so then,
Yeah, but what about the lifting and the raising, and that's what you're talking about?
yeah, if we have knowledge of it, we're supposed to fix it, like to get it taken care of, to get it torn out or whatever you guys decide to do. But if we have knowledge about it, it is our legal responsibility to take care of
Actually,
it.
it would be really nice, because that, what you're talking about, that's right in the front, not the down the side, because the one down the side is not bad. But the one in front is the one that is, and that would be nice to just tear that up, because I've been mowing that all last summer, and I'll tell you what, trying to maneuver my mower around that tree and go over the sidewalk and stuff, that was a little tricky.
So why are you mowing it? Isn't it?
Because I wanted to, I did it for help. I didn't do it for any, I just thought it would help our people with knowing that it was,
An eyesore.
yes, well, and besides,
It's an
you know,
eyesore.
grass this high kind of gets scary stuff in it. So to me, it was just easier to take my mower down and mow it out. And
So as far as
move on.
sidewalk
He didn't even know I was
regulations,
doing it.
Oh, thank you.
So it sounds to me after reading all this that cities in Kansas work with property owners to maintain sidewalks.
Yes.
And the city can cause a property owner to repair their sidewalk, and in some cases, the city's liable for sidewalk
Yeah, I
problems.
mean-
And so we need to work together with people. If they want to fix their sidewalk, let's do what we can to help them do that.
Yeah, they said that that's a good thing to have like a sidewalk sharing program to
Yeah.
the 50/50 sidewalk. They have one in Topeka even.
what can the Pride Committee do?
I'm not sure on that. I have no idea.
Because Kansas Pride gives out grants for those things.
Yeah, they
So-
do.
So if we're registered with
And
the
the other
state, then
thing of
we'll
it
be
is
able
though,
to get
until we get the other
grants.
stuff in play, we can't, I mean, personally, we can't pursue much, so. It is, we have to get the rest of it in place to support it.
I put mine on, off.
Turn them off.
I turned mine off.
I would think that we should help
This is farmers.
property
This is
owners
farmers.
if we can,
This is
and
farmers.
encourage them to do it if they want to.
So it's this one.
But try to avoid at all costs enforcing anything on someone, you know, because we have the power to fix it just as well as they do. But this gives, you know, if you post this, I think it will make people aware of their sidewalks, and they'll go out and they'll say, hey, what can I do with this? Now they know.
Right. I do have all like the statutes like listed too, in case you guys wanted to look at the actual state law.
Yeah, I wouldn't post that online, just, you know, post the minimal online, but it's good we have it.
Yeah, it was really interesting to look up actually. And then like with the ADA, if you do replace the sidewalk, you do have to do it by their standards. Like, and I don't think that our sidewalks were done when they,
Some of them
are they?
are. The one in
Yeah,
front
they're
of
not
the,
too far.
the one in front of the, bank building, one over by Dan's.
Okay.
That was all done ADA. The one-
Yeah, because there like has to be a certain slope, and then I think some of them even have to have like a texture.
Yeah, and they have to have, ramps, so like
Yes.
in front of our cafe, they had to put new sidewalks and curbs in.
Yep.
And the
And,
city
yeah, they-
actually, I think the city actually got some sort of a grant to do that.
And
Put
yeah,
the
I'm
new
sure that there
curbs
is
in.
quite a few of that, because I know that that would be something that, since they have to because of the standards, that they would probably give a grant for.
Because if we're talking about sidewalks, the sidewalk outside the pool could use some
Yeah.
help.
I think all of our sidewalks could use some help, except for mine, because I don't have one.
Some of the sidewalks are buried.
Yeah. And it is illegal in the city of McCracken to ride a bicycle on the sidewalk. I did learn that too.
Don't give me
Lord.
Which I thought that's what the sidewalks were for.
as well as walking.
But yeah, that's another
So we need to
funny
put in a bike
ordinance.
trail.
Huh?
So we need to put in a bike.
Well, I don't know. I'm just
Bike
saying that
lane?
that was one of the ordinances from the
I know.
1800s.
Kidding.
They didn't want you doing that or driving over fire hoses.
Well, you kind of had to take into consideration what their sidewalks were like, because in the 1800s, they were wooden.
Right.
Or brick, and they were probably very narrow. So therefore, if someone was trying to ride up and down them, you know,
It's just- it
walking,
was
could
so
be
funny.
treacherous. But,
Is
yeah.
this over here, John Zellers, is that all still brick?
I think so, yes.
John's is all brick in front of his house and on the side.
Okay, next we'll have the new business for the swimming pool.
Probably need to get a committee together to get started on that as soon as we can. I mean, again, it's weather permitting.
So we're already in almost to March, so
Well, I understand, but they, you know, you can't do concrete work if it's too cold. And that's what they gotta do.
there's the.
Yeah, I think
can even
that, yeah,
afford it.
I think there's gonna have to be like somebody to come in and look at it and really see what actually needs to be done, and I don't know who that would be.
I don't either, because I wasn't real impressed with our last bill. Not that the people, I was impressed with the people, because they did very well, but it's a little crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I don't even know who to call.
Pool buster.
But I know that it's needed to, like thought needs to be put into it,
There's
because it is
probably-
gonna be that time.
There's probably somebody in Dodge City.
Well, I mean, I would rather be able to do it ourselves, we just need to see what needs to be done, I think. Because I know that it's got a leak in the bottom now. For sure, because,
Let's
yeah,
try to keep pools out of Abilene.
I mean, because it leaked out fast, what, 2
Abilene,
weeks?
McKee?
That's
All that
what
water
Solomon
came out?
I
used.
told you we had to keep
Who?
the hose running.
Did Solomon use
Yeah.
McKee out of Abilene?
I'm supposed to use it on.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll just,
Do a little
I just
research.
do a little bit of research on that, because it needs to be, there needs to be a decision made if it's even gonna be able to open this year, because we can't open it with the drought, having to have a hose in it, like she said, you know,
No.
continuously. It just won't, that's crazy. And that's gonna put us into water restrictions, I think.
And we gotta figure out what it's gonna cost anyway, because there's not a whole lot left to.
I mean, we did get the both skimmers working this year.
Yep, we did.
I thought one went out by the end of the year.
Yeah, we got them both working.
What's
they were both
the, so now with the pool, the budget's different then? 'Cause
There
it's
is
taken-
There is no pool budget.
That's what I mean, it's different.
But there is
right?
still a line item, this pool is still a line item, like, it just doesn't show up like
A budget.
on that, but it's still on there, like,
But
you
there's
still
It doesn't
track.
show up as a
There's not a
fund.
bunch of money there.
No, it's still gonna track whatever we spend on the pool, but there's not an actual,
It's not a fund.
it's not a fund, thank you. Yeah,
Okay, so it's not earmarked at $4,000,
Right.
that's what you're saying?
yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. But it'll still track it, so it's not
Yeah,
that
right.
you'd be able to spend $30,000 and nobody's gonna notice.
Right, but I'm saying.
But there's no,
It's not
yeah,
earmarked.
it's no fund, it's not doesn't have its fund line
Like,
anymore.
that's what I was asking.
Yeah.
Because I knew we had to change that, so. Okay.
Okay, we already talked.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, so.
I'll reach out to, you said McKee's,
Uh-huh,
And
MC, capital K.
okay? And see if maybe they can tell us anything about the pool and figure out what we can possibly get
Sometimes
done
they
with
can
it.
get, yeah, and sometimes they know somebody closer to
Yeah.
it.
In mind, somebody closer. The burn pit, you've already talked about? Yeah, we're good there. So that leads me next to the cemetery mowing bin. We had a guy, his name is Jared Schulte. He reached out, he got this information that we were looking for someone. We hadn't even said anything about looking for anyone. We actually put it in with the city superintendent position as all properties. So the cemetery outside of McCracken, the St. Mary's Cemetery, Twyla and Hoop, they have Jared Schulte. He's from Nest City. He does Schulte's Lawn Care, and he said that he was a teacher, and he decided that he was done, didn't want to teach. He was just doing this lawn business on the side, and then it became a big thing, and he gave up his teaching career and to go ahead and pursue a lawn career. So he was telling us that he heard that we possibly needed somebody since Caden Faust was no longer doing it with his lawn service. And so Norma and Shane had done it the last time, right before. Right before
The
they-
last mow
The
that we
last
did,
mow,
yeah,
yeah.
we did.
So he had given us a quote here for lawn maintenance as needed for the 2023 spring and summer. His description was for mowing, edging, blowing, trash removal, small limb removal. The cost was going to be the first service for no more than $700, and the price after there would be determined by the number of hours worked. He charges $50 an hour, estimating to $650 to $670. Sorry,
50 an hour, I'll go mow it.
$650 to $750.
But you said he had a crew.
But he has a
of people.
crew. This is 4 people going out mowing it in an amount of time.
St. Mary's always looks so nice.
He already came out and surveyed, and that's when he gave us this bid, because he asked, he called me on the phone and said, I got your phone number from Twyla. Twyla had said something about this, and I just wanted to see if you guys would be interested. And I said, well, I can't make that decision. So I'm over the cemetery for maintenance purposes. I said, but I'll go ahead and have you go out there. And he said, do you mind if I go out and get a bid? He said, I'll be in the McCracken area. And he just took on, I believe, the Nest City Cemetery, the Ransom Cemetery, and he also does St. Mary's, and then there's another one he's getting ready to do, Alexander, I think. So he has several cemeteries. But he said he employs the high school kids. He's got some of the football team that comes out and helps him. And he said that we don't even need to worry about removing the flowers, anything like that. They'll go ahead and leave what they need to. And he said that they take care of all that. And I said, well, there's trees out there. And he said, well, we'll do even small limbs, which that's nothing that anyone really had done before for us. So this is just a bid. I mean,
I think it's worth a shot.
Because if you ever go out
That's what I've heard.
and
I've heard
mow
nothing but
it
good things about
and
it.
weed eat the whole thing.
Blow it off.
Didn't you
Well,
say
and
8 hours each?
You're a sole person out doing it, or just two
Yeah.
of us, like Shane and I did. I'll tell you what,
And
it's,
he carries he's bonded, he carries his own insurance. He said that if he goes out there, one of his kids was to get hurt or any of that, he's all covered on his own. So he carries all of that.
What about is it his equipment?
It's all his equipment, yes.
I just think Mary's voice looks so nice.
I mean, that,
And in my opinion, I think it's a win-win and worth a shot, but I don't know what you guys think.
Did you guys ever get the list there of all the plots for the military veterans?
I think we should see if we can get some more bids.
well,
Okay, well,
probably, we could, yeah, I don't have a problem getting more if we can find somebody that'll do them. Cemeteries are really.
yeah, because we couldn't find anybody to do it last year, that's why
No,
Norma and
that's
Shane
why
did
we
it.
ended
Yeah, I
up
know,
doing
it's
it.
been difficult.
It is really hard to find people, and I understand it, to be honest with you. I mean, to,
My only thing is you're already at March, the cemetery needs cleaned up.
No, just put a thing out there. if
I
you
think
wanna
it would
send
be
them in.
worth just giving him
We could put
a
up
shot.
for bid.
But we can show
I mean,
now.
I've heard that it looks like crap out there, and I think that,
Well, ours is the last month.
Yeah, I
And
know.
I mean,
because
and
we
winter
only got
is gonna
mowed,
look
what, 4
crappy.
times, 5 times last year, because we couldn't find anybody.
And the thing that he said is, what he was telling me was the service for the no more than 700, because,
But
That was
that's
just for the first time.
but that was the first time, yes, but he said that that would give him able to go ahead to gauge to see how much.
Yeah,
is
well, because
actually
like, okay, when you and Shane did it, he said it took 8 hours to mow. If you imagine 4 people doing it, that would be, what, $200 to mow it? I mean, it's gonna be $50 an hour? I mean.
Well, it's gonna, he'll spend 4 to 6 hours, even with the crew out there, they'll still
He said
spend that.
$50 an hour is what he'll charge us.
I've mowed it several
I
times,
mean,
so
I would
know.
think that's a good deal,
I think it's a good
actually.
deal.
I think we should run an ad in the paper and solicit for one more bid at least.
We could do that.
We can do that.
And then-
So I need to run an
and
ad
then-
for a couple weeks, or?
Yeah,
I make a
run it.
motion to run an ad for a week.
Yeah.
Now taking bids. And also, can we get a list of, we had talked about.
I don't think that there is a list, I'd have to make it.
For what?
Well,
For
where's, I
veterans?
thought Bill Greenway had all this
The
stuff.
I don't
veterans,
think there is one, like, I
they
don't
should
think
have a
it
list,
exists.
they should have a list, Tyrell should have a list because they put the flags out.
Oh, yeah, that would be the
So I bet that
American
the-
They
Legion.
have an up-to-date list
I would
and
imagine.
plots as to where they're at.
I would imagine they do because they put all the flags out.
Because our game plan is with Wreaths Across America for next December.
Mm-hmm.
And then also ETA, you might want to put on your agenda, October 29th is going to be the 2nd annual golf cart parade.
Okay,
Okay, October 29th?
I talked to Butch today and asked them to get that on their calendar of events for the American Legion.
okay, perfect.
So just get it going. So
Um,
start thinking, get your engines going.
You guys are a lot more creative than I am.
I was quite impressed with a lot of.
Yes, I was too.
I forgot the first thing.
Okay, if there's, so
We
this,
need to
so we
take
can,
a-
well, we can take a vote. So, make a motion to run an ad in the paper. An ad, is that what you want, an ad in the paper?
Yeah, that's fine, I couldn't remember what I was, I had my phone out
Yeah.
for.
And
An
then,
ad in the paper for at least a week to figure out
Mowing bids.
mowing bids, and then also utilize any free advertising we can for Next Tech and.
Yeah, I'll put it on Facebook. But they said that those
Marketplace.
actually, people don't get newspapers anymore, that Facebook is more, like,
Yeah,
you've got a more chance of having more people see it. And
you might
I
put
didn't
it on the
know that.
website too.
And yeah, the website I
yeah, the
will.
website.
I wish more people would sign up for
In our
that.
Case Post might give you, I don't know if they charge for every single thing that you put on there, but they might do something.
They
to
charge
you.
a.
On what?
Hayes
Hayes
Post?
Post.
Oh, Hayes Post, yeah, they do, they charge quite a bit.
Could it be something Shirley and Carolyn put?
Yeah, we could put it in. and-
Not necessarily.
Well, let me
I would-
take that back.
Yeah, I think that
Shirley
no,
told
that
me
would-
so we could not run
Yeah,
city
Anything,
things,
yeah, no,
soliciting.
nothing soliciting.
So, in
They
that.
kind of I think they kind of let like the library soup suppers go, they kind of let like the little things go, but
Right.
anything that's gonna be a paying thing, you
Right.
know.
But I could put it on Next Tech, I could put it on the website, and I could put it on
We can
Facebook.
just cover all the
Yeah,
entities.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
And
So,
just see,
so I'm gonna make a motion to leave it up to Nicole for her soliciting.
I make a
And
motion.
Yeah, now that you got a raise, get it done.
For soliciting
There's
for,
an ordinance against that, I did read that too.
for her
Now you're
soliciting.
gonna earn that, my girlfriend.
I make a motion that Nicole calls the,
You get a good sight line.
contacts the paper and make an ad for, the cemetery bids.
Okay, I'll second it. So moved and seconded to go ahead and have Nicole take care of the cemetery bid. And all those in favor, say advertising, all those in favor say aye.
I,
All opposed, same side, motion carried. I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been